This is Eileen Fontenot at the Thomas Crane Public Library, and this is At Your Library for the month of February. I'm going to be speaking about a few things we're offering online and some services and programs that we're excited to offer to you. But before I get started, I wanted to point out the portrait behind me. This is Mr. Albert Crane, who was Thomas Crane's son. Some people don't know that Thomas Crane himself never actually saw the Crane Library finished. Mr. Albert Crane is the one who endowed $250,000 to the library in order to get it built and named it after his father. So that's an interesting little local history tidbit for you guys today. Now I'll be speaking a little bit about what we have to offer for February. First off is a little notice that we're going to be closed on Monday, February 15th for President's Day. That means there's going to be no to-go pickup for your materials or printouts, and no one will be around to answer your questions in the building. Services resume on Tuesday, but I want to remind you all that we're always open online at thomascranelibrary.org. We have many audiobooks digitally, a lot of ebooks, movies and music that you can access at thomascranelibrary.org. So that should keep you occupied over the long weekend. Next, we have some exciting news, a new service called Grab Bags. I know a lot of you have expressed to us that you kind of miss browsing the stacks and getting a little excited about what you might discover that you didn't know about before. So we wanted to try to recreate that experience with these grab bags. How it works is that you either fill out a form on our website, or you can call 617-376-1300, hit extension 2 to speak to our circulation department, who will get some information from you about the type of genres you like, if you're looking for adult fiction or kids fiction, teen. So this grab bag is for folks of any age. And then they'll get a little more information about what sorts of books you like, and then they'll surprise you with a little grab bag. You'll make an appointment to pick it up just like you would anything else, and then you'll get a treat to discover at home. Again, you can pick that up at the main library, or you can pick it up at the Adams Shore branch or the Wollaston branch, which are open for pickups in a limited form. Next, we have some information about our popular genealogy database, Ancestry. There's good news for you guys who love to do your family history research. Ancestry is now available at home for a limited time for Quincy residents only. So in order to do that, you'd have to get on our catalog online and click Ancestry Quincy on the left-hand side, log into the catalog, and then click the logo that says a Quincy History Edition. If that's a little confusing for you, that's all right. You can call us at the number that I mentioned earlier, but hit extension 3 to talk to the reference folks like myself, and we can help you log in. Again, that's for a limited time. We're not sure when it'll end, but this is a great way to do a little research at home while we're kind of stuck there. Another question we get quite often at our to-go service or on the phone is about tax forms. So I know probably a lot of you are really eager to get started on your taxes. And the question is, will we have any as we do most years? And that answer is yes. We don't know when they'll be in yet. They're not in yet. And we're not sure when they'll be in, but we will be getting those 1040s and the state tax forms as usual. So call us at 617-376-1300 extension 3 and ask us, check in with us, and we'll be able to tell you when that's in. You will be able to pick them up at the door. We also have a taxes funded guide on our website that offers some information about who you can call in the state and federal government to order forms online, get some help, things like that. Our no contactless pickup continues. It's been going on for several months now, and it's amazingly popular, and hope you've already taken advantage of that. If you haven't, a little rundown on how it works. You can either call us at extension 2 or go online to our catalog, place some holds that way. Then you'll be getting an email or a phone call letting you know that they're ready for pickup. Online, you can schedule a pickup on our online scheduler form, and then just come to the main library or Adam Shore or Wollaston at certain times, and you'll be able to get your materials and a contactless pickup. Adam Shore and Wollaston have those pickup times from 1 to 5, Monday through Thursday. So that's something to keep in mind if you'd like to stay in your neighborhood and pick up that way. Just a note, in-person technology services are suspended due to the COVID surge here in Quincy. We hope to reinstate them at some point once the numbers go down, but I just wanted to let you know that that's still in effect, that we don't have any in-person technology services. However, we do have contactless pickup for printouts. I know printouts are very popular here, and we wanted you to make sure you could still get those. You can call us or use a form online to request some pickups, including printouts. To get those printouts, you would email qupprint@ocln.org, and you would email us whatever you'd like printed out and wait for a response. And then you would be able to pick them up at those 3 locations without an appointment. So that's pretty handy. Another thing to go over is that we're still asking folks for their COVID-19 memories. We are partnering with the City of Quincy, the Quincy 400 organization, and Quincy Access Television to archive your Quincy COVID-19 memories. How has your life changed during this time? What's different? What's been a challenge? We'd like to know, and I'm sure people in Quincy and future generations want to know too. So if you have some letters, some writing, artwork, music, poetry, photographs, video, all of those are fair game, and we'd love to see them. If you want to submit those photos, you would go to quincyculturalmemory.com and submit as many as you'd like during this time. There's no deadline or anything like that, so you're welcome to continue to submit those memories and become immortalized forever in Quincy's archives here that I'm sitting in. So now on to our programs. We're still offering many, many online programs for all ages. First off is we're continuing our restorative yoga classes. They are happening Tuesday nights at 7 on February 2nd, 9th, and 16th. Christine Way Cotter of Secret Garden, and she's a Quincy local. She is going to be offering this restorative yoga classes. You don't have to, go to each one. You're welcome to just pop in whenever you'd like. She does something called Yoga Nidra, and it's a kind of like when you're falling asleep, that kind of relaxed sensation. So definitely, if you're having a rough week, pop in with Christine. We'll be offering that on Zoom, Facebook Live, and YouTube. And that goes for all of our programs. So you have a few different options to join us. On Thursday, February 4th, in partnership with the Newton Free Public Library, we're offering a virtual screening of the short documentary Legacy of Love. So director Roberto Mighty, who has done this short documentary and has been seen on WGBH, he's going to be joining us and answering questions about it afterwards. This kind of touches on Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King and how they met in the Boston area and fell in love and took their steps towards their social justice work. So it should be very interesting, and Mr. Mighty will be excited to answer your questions. This program is registration required, so please check our online calendar to register for it. We're continuing our popular series, Falls Prevention and Stress Management for Older Adults. This is going to be 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Tuesdays, February 9th and 23rd. And don't worry if this is not a convenient time for you. We are recording them, and they'll be available on our YouTube page for later viewing. That also goes to a lot of our adult programs. If you're not able to see some of them live, you will be able to see the recordings on YouTube for most of them. So on February 9th, Nurse Debbie Lynn Toomey at Tufts will be welcoming back Katie Kowalski. She is going to be talking about Think First, which is an organization whose mission it is to prevent brain, spinal cord, and other traumatic injuries. So this is going to be some very valuable information for those of you who want to stay healthy in your home and make sure you don't get any injuries like that. February 23rd, Debbie will be most likely getting a co-host, but we're not sure yet. So that's to be discussed, to be TBD. So stay tuned for that. But whatever it is, I'm sure it'll be wonderful. She's very knowledgeable and be very exciting. Thursday, February 11th is Robert Reich, a program with this gentleman who you might remember from the Clinton administration. He was the Secretary of Labor in that administration. We're very pleased to offer this big name in partnership with Newton Free Library again. Mr. Reich just published a book called The System: Who Rigged It, How We Fixed It. He'll be discussing that new title with us. Christopher Lydon, so he hosts an original podcast called Open Source, which is heard on WBUR. He's going to be the moderator for this. So this is a registration-only program. If you look on our events calendar, you'll be able to find a link to register, and I'm sure seats will fill up pretty fast. On Thursday, February 18th at 7 o'clock, we're going to be welcoming back Chronicle reporter Ted Reinstein. He's done some stuff for us before and is really fun. This time he's going to be discussing the new normal New England road trip, just kind of a ride around New England and seeing some fun stuff in the area without having to leave your home. He's going to reveal where the best clam chowder is in New England, and hopefully it's nearby. He is going to be taking questions, so stay tuned for that. Next up, we have the USS Harmon and African Americans in the Navy. So that's going to be on Tuesday, February 23rd at 7 o'clock. Some of you might know about the USS Harmon, which was built here in Quincy. And let's see, it was built in the Fore River Shipyard. So it was named after Leonard Roy Harmon, a U.S. Navy sailor killed in the Pacific during World War II. And the USS Harmon was the first Navy ship to be named for an African American. So that's a really interesting part of history that I'm sure that people are excited to learn about. Professor Karima Lewis will be rejoining us to speak about that. And this is co-sponsored by the Quincy Department of Historic and Heritage Resources. And finally, for you adults, we're going to have a local authors panel. That's going to be Thursday, February 25th at 7. And it's going to feature a few local authors who will be discussing their works and their writing styles and et cetera. So we're going to be hosting Lisa Braxton, Kristen Lajewski, Jessica Levi, Kimberly Meyer, and Michael Weisler. That should be pretty exciting. And again, all this information is on our website, on our events calendar, and you'll be able to join us on Zoom, YouTube, or Facebook Live. So for the teens in your life, we're going to be hosting a few things. There's going to be a Dungeons and Dragons series this month for ages 10 through 15. You can play Werewolf online. There's going to be a piano masterclass. The South Shore Book Buzz group that's going to be talking about some great new titles for teens and a lot of other fun stuff. So definitely check our events calendar again, or check out the special Instagram for teens at teens@TCPL. And that's at AT, not the @ symbol. So you parents must be excited about the school vacation week this month. We have a few special events for kids, for young kids. Be sure to check out the children's special Facebook, TCPL Children's. So if you go to facebook.com and type in TCPL Children's, you'll be able to keep up with all the fantastic things our children's librarians are doing. So It's going to be preschool story time, Mother Goose story time, music and movement with Ruby. And for school vacation week, we're going to have special events like Dragons, Return of the Ice Sorceress story, Choose Your Own Adventure read along, which sounds exciting. I love Choose Your Own Adventure. Black Voices story time. Since this is Black History Month, we wanted to amplify those voices. Draw and tell story time, hour of code. So there are just so many things for all your children to enjoy this month. Well, thank you very much for joining me. I hope this has enlightened you a bit about what we're offering here in Quincy for February. Again, there's still tons of things we have on our website, thomascranelibrary.org. We have information about Goodreads, things that we recommend, and all kinds of electronic resources, databases, things like that. So be sure to check us out there. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram and Twitter, and we hope you can join us on those platforms so you can see everything that we've got going for you this month.
Talking here today with Clayton Cheever, our assistant director here at Thomas Crane. We're having a little casual conversation as he prepares to move on. So Clayton, welcome. Thank you for joining me.
Oh, thank you, Eileen. It is such a pleasure to have this opportunity to talk with you and to talk with the people who like to watch our show and watch our content. It has been so wonderful working with QATV, with Mark, with Jonathan, with Michael, with Carol. There's just so many great people over there at QATV, and they're just such a pleasure to work with. So every chance I get to praise them, either if it's just them seeing the video or if I get an opportunity to say something in public about how a wonderful community partner they've been and how they really help, especially in this era where we can't welcome people into the library the way we did. And we are now seeing attendance at our programs that we couldn't accommodate in person. We are taking it to another level during a pandemic. It's really incredible.
They really are a lot of fun to work with. I've had the pleasure of learning their technology and going into their studio and doing all these videos, and it's been so much fun. So yes, thank you to all of them.
They, I think, could potentially have futures at big broadcasting houses that, and big studios that are way bigger than what we can do here in Quincy. And I'm just so grateful for their commitment to community media and community information. It's, I think a major staple for a lot of people in the city. Haven't always been a community television, before I think doing work with them, I didn't even appreciate what community media centers do to the same degree as I do now. And that's something I'm looking forward to expanding on in Norwood. Norwood has it. So to tell everybody, my big news, I have recently signed a contract to become the director of the Morrill Memorial Library in Norwood, Massachusetts. I am really going to miss Quincy a ton, but I'm also really excited about Norwood. And as I was just saying, they have a community media center that I'm looking forward to developing ties with so that we can take some of the lessons that I've been able to learn here and apply them to Norwood and, kind of spread the gospel of Quincy as far and wide as I can.
Congratulations officially. I'm glad we were able to do this little talk. So the folks out in Quincy won't be wondering where you went to, you're such a, especially during COVID, you've been on Zoom, you've been hosting programs on Facebook and YouTube and everything. You've been like the face of the library for a lot of things. So I'm glad we're able to kind of tell everyone this great news.
Every time I get to be in front and to represent Thomas Crane, I definitely feel I feel very proud. I think we have an awesome library. I couldn't do this work without all the people who work here in the library, keeping things going. It's been, one thing that we've learned in this pandemic is just how much more work it takes, but how valuable it is to take care of each other. And I couldn't be doing these programs and helping represent to the community what we're doing without everybody who's working here. So I hope nobody, internally has ever felt that, like, oh, geez, how come Clayton's taking all the spotlight? I'm really grateful to share that spotlight with folks and looking for every opportunity as possible, because we couldn't do this, any of us, by ourselves. It has been an honor to represent the library in person at programs over the years and here on YouTube. And I'm excited about what the future could hold for our ability to get the message out to as many people as we can. We have an awesome city, and I wish I could personally say, see you down the road to all the people here. I'm really going to miss working here, working with all the great people here who, like yourself in the library. It's really been just awesome. And with all the great people in the community, there are just so many awesome community partners that, many whom I've been able to actually introduce to the city and to a larger audience here through our programs. People across Massachusetts, which of course we can all keep in touch with. But just, I think about all the amazing local folks, and I don't even want to start naming names here because I'll inevitably leave somebody out, and I mean no offense. But if I've talked to you, you know who you are, and I thank you. It has really been impressive, the diversity of voices and perspectives and passions for our greater community here in the city, and it's been an awesome experience.
And you've been here quite a while, like 7 years, right?
I have been here just over 7.5 years. Yeah. I've actually never had any position this long. I've never been in one place even this long, let alone in one position in that place. I was in Boston before coming here, and I was there for about 5 years. But I had 3 different positions in that time while I was there. So, and I'm not bored. I'm really enjoying. This is a great job being the assistant director. So if the next assistant director happens to be listening or watching this, if you haven't applied yet, please do. They're still, I know, considering applications. We really want to get a great one in here. I've talked to a couple people who approached me, and if anybody has interest in the position, would like to learn more about it, I'd be happy to talk to them about it. This is really, applied towards people with public library experience, and the bar is, we need somebody with a lot of experience and passion for public libraries. If you have that, this is a great place to be.
Yeah, it's really exciting to work here. I mean, there's never a dull moment, that's for sure. And there's always opportunity to do a lot of different things. That's what, I've enjoyed about working here too. So
absolutely. Something that, during the pandemic, it's been really important to have a staff presence for all of our programs. And that's meant actually attending a lot more programs than I was ever before, and staying through. We never had the luxury of staying through the entire program. But now it's been a requirement. It's really been enriching. I've been able to do programs with friends, be able to do things so that, that got a great feedback and turn, feedback from the community and support and appreciation. But it's, I have to admit, when I was picking things, it had to hold some personal interest. There had to be something there, which is not a requirement. Certainly, I don't do this work for myself. I do it for the community, and that's what we should all be doing, is serving the community. But there have been so many ways where there's so many intersections where there was demand for and interest in the community was also stuff that I personally found interesting. And so, it's just, it takes your life to another level. It's great.
You learn stuff yourself that you've never, experienced before, and then you hope you pass that along to people in the community, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are you looking forward to in your new role?
Oh, there's so much learning to do in any new role. I know some of the folks, Brian, who used to work here, and some folks.
I'm sure our viewers will remember him.
Yeah, he did a lot of work here, and he and I actually have a plaque in my wall here for the chair affair video that he and I worked on together with a bunch of staff here, and we won national recognition for when we put that video together. People just loved it, and it was really fun to do. So I'm really excited to be reunited with him. There's several other members. I remember I called Lydia, who's the assistant director there, before I even applied, and said, "Hey, are you going to apply for this job? Why not? What's going on? What do I need to know?" And she just, she gave me great answers, and I totally understood where she was at, and gave me, the confidence to want to make sure that it was a good fit for me. And I know several others. Kate is the head of the children's department, and she and I were in school together. Liz is a rock star. She's been in the adult services department for some time, but just got promoted to be the head of that department. So to be able to help her spread her wings even further, it's just an awesome staff. Before I hesitate even saying any names there because there's so many great people. So it's like the staff here that I've really enjoyed working with. I'm really excited about the staff in Norwood and figuring out how to make those connections. And it's weird here in this time when I haven't been able to, I've done like one tour of the building here post-COVID, or not, we're not post-COVID, but during the pandemic. But I am grateful to have had those connections with a bunch of people there previously to build on. but there'll be a lot more. I'm just looking forward to getting to know the community. My wife and daughter and I went and did a walk. We were a couple of weeks ago, went down that way, and we were looking for interesting places to go, and we saw a map, or on the map, we were using All Trails was the app we were using. I don't know if you've ever used that app before.
Yeah.
And we found this link and all these reviews for a bird park. We saw that sounds cool. Let's go see some birds. And we get there, and it was a bird park. And we found the sign, we found the parking spot, and we started walking. And it was really wide and open. I mean, when you think bird park, you think a lot of shade and a lot of tree cover, and places really a bird habitat. And we're like, well, this is nice, and we were enjoying it, but trying to figure out, where are the birds? And we saw somebody with a big fancy camera and who was checking out a woodpecker, I think they said. But then we came across a sign. It was named after somebody whose last name was Bird. So it was cool. It was this nice big park. It had some nice walking trails and some, some nice water features, and some cool stone bridges were really neat in that park. I've been told somebody who's leaving Norwood, and I don't think I'll get a chance to work with. Actually, no, this is from a story of somebody who used to work there before Brian. I think she was the IT person before Brian was telling me all about the places to bike and to hike, and she was talking about swimming. I was exploring those things. So that'll be fun in Norwood. I'm going to miss the coastline though, having 27 miles here with Wollaston Beach and the Neck, and Quincy is an awesome place. It's not possible to top. I'm not, there's a beautiful building in Norwood. I'm sure there's some gorgeous natural spaces I'm really looking forward to. Yeah. I leave Quincy with a heavy heart in some ways though, because it is such a great place to be here. So people who are here, I hope that they count their blessings. And, my daughter is now teaching snowboarding lessons in the Blue Hills, to have that in our backyard. I did a program for Earth Day this spring with someone in the environmental and what was her responsibility? And she was doing wastewater mitigation and looking at our natural spaces. And we did a tour of some of the awesome wild spaces in Quincy. We did a program just last week about Quincy's trees, which is exciting. I want to go out and look more at the various trees. I know our Chris is our tree warden, and he is totally privileged. He has friends in places all over the state, and has worked in a number of other places as a tree warden as well, and was just impressing me with just the huge richness of our natural environment here. So that's pretty cool too.
That's pretty great. And one thing that you're good at is that you have all these contacts and all this community around you. I mean, every time not only in Quincy, every time I go to any sort of conference or anything, they're like, say hi to Clayton, Every time they hear that I'm from Thomas Crane, they know who you are. And
that's sweet.
Yeah, it is. It's funny. Even when I was out of state too, it's like I meet people in the airports and they're like, oh yeah, I am from XY and somewhere north of here. And it's like, wow. So, I know you'll probably do well, I know you will, making those connections, those contacts. So I'm sure you'll.
I like people a lot. I really just find different stories fascinating. I love learning different stories and how we all gotten to be where we are. And I love learning what people are passionate about. With some of I just feel like life is too short for any of us. There's just so many stories out there. Maybe this is what drew me to libraries in the first place, is a love for stories, and whether they're being expressed between covers of a book, or whether they're being expressed in song or in a movie or a television series. There is just something about all these different stories that we have available to us in libraries. That is what brought me here. The first job I had that was kind of library related, I didn't even think about it as library related. I was working for a time in a used bookstore, because I got access to every year. I'd been members, my family had been members for years, and we had accumulated this huge credit of available books. Every year that you renewed your membership, you got 10 free credits that you could exchange for books. And we had I had basically any book I wanted to take home, I could get a credit for from the used collection. But we were always getting new stuff. I was always, make sure buying the new stuff myself and spending any money they paid me on books, and taking the used stuff out. And I just did it because I loved the stories. I just loved being there. And I loved being able to work there on a Sunday afternoon when it was pretty quiet and just practice guitar for a few hours, and be the only person opening and closing the store. It was just a cool place to be. So that love of stories is what draws me to folks, and I think it resonates with folks. I think a lot of us love stories, and it's really fun to share them.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Thank you for chatting with me. Do you have anything else to add? Or this sounds like a good place to end
I
it.
think we're good. You know, I just want to leave. I want to say thank you to everybody across Quincy for everybody's support. This is an exciting opportunity for me. And, you know, I was not watching job boards looking for anything. I've been really, really, really happy here in Quincy as the assistant director. I love working with Megan. I love working with our supervisory team and all of our staff here. Of course, there's challenges. Of course, we have, somebody who's upset, and I get to deal with some of those upset people and be that kind of front line. I know a lot of other people do too, but as we know, when things get to a certain to the top level where people can't take anymore, that comes to me. And some of those are not pleasant, of course. But that kind of comes with any position. And I always, try to do that as gracefully as possible while being fair and making sure, kind of keeping the bigger picture in mind. But I'm really, even the folks who have been difficult, I'm grateful for, because, we learn and get to show our best self with how we perform when things are tough. And it's been a crazy year. We definitely have had challenges, and so far, knock on wood, everybody is staying healthy. Everybody's doing well. I know it's a hard time, and it can be a depressing time. And so, trying to figure out ways where we can connect more with each other and take care of each other. If there's one thing coming out of this pandemic that I can hope we all really figure out how to prioritize, because it's what it's getting us through, is the importance to take care of each other. So I have felt incredibly nurtured and supported. This is an awesome opportunity for me to become a new director, and it wouldn't be possible without all the support that I've had. And so one of the things I'm feeling most these days is that extreme gratitude for everybody who's brought me to this space. It's just a really awesome opportunity, and I couldn't do it without everybody's help. And so I'm grateful. And I've had a lot of people wish me well, and I really appreciate it. I couldn't do it without everybody else. So thank you. Thank you, Eileen.
Well, I'm very excited for you. I know this is going to be a super fun challenge for you that you'll be awesome at. And thank you for all the things you've done for us as staff over the years. And we wish you the best.
Thank you.
Thanks for stopping by and chatting with us. And I'm sure we'll see you around the conferences.
I am sure our paths will continue. We are still in this endeavor to improve public libraries and be the best we can be. So I definitely look forward to keeping in touch, and encourage folks to look me up in Norwood. Give me a call, send me an email. If I know you personally, please, I'd be happy to share my personal email and phone number with people who I know. So I'm not going to put those out here on QETV because this is got a very much more public audience. But I want people who do feel like me that way to please reach out and let's stay in touch. I really thank you, Eileen.
Thank you so much for chatting with me. I really appreciate it.